Finance, we've got no actual action items. Financial statements, you want to give us an update on February? Oh, right, I was looking at the wrong person.
Well, yeah, you're looking at me, or at Rhonda, but you should have those, I guess.
Yeah, we've got them.
Got to look at that
We do
and
this all paperless these days.
understand this is, as I'm still finding my way around here, this is what, day 16, I guess, so. Nothing out of the ordinary, I guess, for where we're at. We're in our 8th month of our fiscal year, and most of our time, as you can well imagine, last number of weeks has been on the FY 14-15 budget. So unless there's any specific questions any of you might have regarding the February financial statements, but everything is moving along according to plan, if you will.
Nope, I have none. Any other board members, questions? No? Okay, warm, safe, and dry.
In the packet, warm, safe, and dry updates expanded a little bit. We're working on 60-plus projects for this year, so I've put the project summaries in there just so you're aware of what's going on. Some of them just have estimates in or consultant fees in. They're not complete. But we will be bringing to about 30 project contract bids to the April finance, probably another 30 to the May finance to have things ready to go when school gets out. So I just want to make you aware we're going to have the purchasing agendas the next 2 months will be quite large.
Okay. And anything that sticks out from, anything we should be concerned about from your end, anything unusual?
Nothing that really sticks out. It's spread fairly well across the buildings. That's more just by happenstance than design. And we really did look at what were the priority projects. And we have about 3.5 million identified in this list. We'll get somewhere between 3.6 and 3.8. So we left us a little bit for emergencies if something comes up that we can deal with.
Good. John, we started without you so that there would be one meeting at which there was clear record that I was here and you were not.
That's good.
But I'll be happy to let you take over. We've gone through the financial statements. There was nothing significant. I don't know if you had any questions.
No, I was good on that. I looked at it over last night.
Okay, and warm, safe, and dry. We're on that now, but about to leave it.
Clarification, just for the viewing audience, if there is any, we're, halfway through or 2/3 the way through warm, safe, and dry?
Time-wise,
Yeah.
we're more than halfway through the 5 years. But project-wise and financially, there's a delay when you collect the money. So we're really in our second full year.
Okay. Policy, John, you can take over.
All right. Is Rusty joining us this morning? Or John?
Rusty was supposed to be here.
We can delay that.
Yeah, I can give him a pass since I was late.
Bust his chops.
Is there anything else that needs?
That's what I was gonna say. I don't have a lot of details, but we have the governor's budget, and that's been out for a few weeks. But the Senate budget came out late last week, so trying to go to the process of starting to look at which version, and certain versions do better in item A, and item C, this one's better. So trying to work that through and sort that through. I haven't gotten any details.
Right. I was wondering, and maybe this is something our viewer audience should be aware of too, but maybe we should send someone from GRPS to explain percentages to them, because our per pupil allowance is $7,000, which means I say 2% increase in that, which would be below the CPI, would give us a per pupil increase of $140 per pupil. We're getting a sub-inflationary increase of, I think, $100, but the politicians seem to have all circled their wagons and are insisting that this is a 3% increase in our funding. So maybe we need to send someone down to Lansing to explain to them the difference between 1% and 3%, and maybe explain inflation to them too. But other than that, I don't have anything legislative. Mr. Ross?
Do you have any sense which course of, or which budget is most beneficial to GRPS at this point?
When I was looking at it last week, my comment to John was I like parts of both.
Yeah, there's, you know, your percentage comment, Mr. LeGrand, is appropriate because it's sometimes hard to even figure out as you read the language of both of this governor's proposal and the Senate's proposal, trying to figure out just what the dollars really are, because they're talking about moving some categorials into the foundation allowance in some situations and doing this and doing that and ins and outs and backflips and so there is good and bad in both proposals. The Senate may give us a little bit more money. The governor takes some restrictions off some of the categorials. The Senate does not want to do that. Maybe it's good and bad as it relates to it's 31A money, right? At risk in terms of just tying it to this is a governor's version, to a third grade reading improvement, if you will. I guess the devil's in the details because we don't really know what that means in terms of what you really can spend the money on as opposed to what we spend it on now. Senate doesn't want to take any restrictions off that 31A money. And so, you know, we'll see how things fall out here in the end. So, but yeah, it's nowhere near a 2% when it's all said and done.
Thanks.
How much time do you guys end up spending sort of reviewing these budgets and trying to anticipate? I just wonder, in the long run, there will be some sort of compromise, and then you don't want to be certainly waiting to the last minute to try and do a budget, but it certainly would be helpful if they can reconcile this fairly quickly, so.
Yeah, 'cause as you can well
Analysis
imagine, we
gets
can't sit
exhausting.
and wait till the
Right.
final. I mean, we've been, as I mentioned, and certainly Ron has been in the details of going through our FY 14-15 budgeting process on the spending side with just some estimates, what we think we're going to get from, not only from the state sources, but some of the federal sources also. And we tend to be conservative because we want to make sure we don't delve too much into fund balance if we have to. So we keep moving forward. We have budget meetings. We had started them last week with buildings. We'll continue them this week, and nothing gets finalized until we really know what kind of money is ultimately going to be coming our way. So that's sometimes a difficulty you have with the legislative process in Lansing. They just don't get that we can't sit around and wait forever and ever for them to make up their mind. You know, we've got to do business and continue to educate our students. So it behooves them to move quicker in their decisions because it holds us all up. It becomes very, very difficult. It's better now than it was, as you know, several years ago, but it's based on the timing we have in terms of getting things done and getting it to you folks and to the board and to the public. We need decisions sooner rather than later, but it's all part of the legislative process.
Of course, the other side of that equation is student count, and I think that's something that we can probably do a better job of modeling earlier, and that's something that's on us. I mean, there's two sides of this
Don't
equation.
disagree
The other
with
is
that.
how many kids we have, and that's a huge financial piece, part of the financial puzzle.
And it sounds like the superintendent is working on some new modeling with a partnership. GVSU she had brought up a few weeks ago, I believe.
Any other questions?
No, not about the legislature, but I do want to go back to the Warm Safe Drive for a second. Just ask Mr. Clark-Harris, when this moves forward, later on, do you mind maybe putting in parentheses with these window and door replacements, maybe the number of doors and windows? I mean, I'm not at all a contractor, but I'm just curious at what the kind of per door cost.
You
It
don't-
seems like it would be.
Don't want to buy a submarine door, $50,000 a door.
Yeah, yeah, so I'm sure that's not just for one door. I'm just a little curious, maybe others might be, so that's all.
Yes, we'll expand the description in each building what it is, because there is some variance depending on the size of doors. Some may be 3 door sets, entry door sets, some may be 1, some may be 5. I'll expand that.
I apologize for my tardiness again, but just as we're looking at this, I know a lot of this, you're dedicating some of this funding to redoing some entrances to provide additional security. How many buildings will have the security features that you so desire, when we still need to do additional buildings beyond warm, safe, and dry in order to facilitate that.
This is just a portion of the ones identified in Warm Safe and Dry. We're doing nine, if I remember right, 9 buildings with doors. We won't add security features, we will replace what's there. So if there's already a card reader, it will stay. Because that's really done separately through Mr. Johnson's office and determining where the secure entrances should be allowed.
Okay.
But the new doors will do 2 things. One, they will make the door more secure because we're replacing old ones. But there's also a warm factor in that they're much better doors. They'll be new modern doors with an energy efficiency to them.
Thanks.
I have one off-topic finance thing.
Please go, and I was just reaching out to Rusty to see if he was actually en route or not.
And I know that this is, the, last year legislation was passed, and I can give this to you, of increased coverage for insurance policies for autism treatment interventions. You have to become an approved evaluation site and through different insurance companies. We already do a significant amount of evaluations, and I don't know if this is, and we already have physicians, and we already have, we already have a lot of these pieces, and obviously therapies. It may be a way for the district to have a positive revenue stream from sort of insurance companies. It's a brand new, well, legislation was last year in response to inadequate coverage for children with autism and the importance of getting in applied behavioral therapy early. Children do better. We already do it, and we do it well. So I'll bring this, you guys can have it and explore it from a financial perspective, trying to get approval through insurance and get payment through there may be an additional hassle that's not worth it, but with the reimbursement, I believe the coverage is up to $50,000 for services rendered. So if we become somebody who is certified through their process, that may be actually beneficial financially for the district. How we do it.
Thank you.
Let's see, that was it. Interesting.
No,
That's all right,
He's
'cause
supposed to be here. It's
Our
just-
sustainability meeting is gonna have to start at 9 to the superintendent. Has a meeting until 9. Right, she won't be here until, she's in another meeting.
If the 3 of us have to be here for sustainability at 9 anyway, we can stop this meeting just for the moment and not adjourn it and just see if Rusty shows up. And
Sure.
If not, then
Sounds good.
we can call it at that point.